friends, I'm Azu and welcome to my first build diary. So I thought there are many build guides out there with min-maxed gear, but you often don't really see how to get there and people wonder why their own character is nowhere close to what they saw in the video. So therefore I'll make a build diary from now on for my builds I played on stream, and I try to point out common mistakes, things I learned on the way, and also show you DPS without min-maxed gear. And I'll also write down important notes in this little box here, so you won't miss any. Right now you can see me mapping my Lacerate Gladiator with max block and focused on bleeding damage with solid but not high endgame gear on a tier 14 map, chasing down that Hunter Conqueror for my questline to Cyrus. I don't have 2020 gems yet, and a lot of my damage from the gear on level 91. As I don't have much currency to spend, I have to pick my upgrades one by one, but more about that later. I mainly use my Leap Slam with Blood Magic for fast movement and switch the stances of Flesh and Stone regularly depending on the monsters I fight. This is something really important to do on this build. You really want to have the blood stance to boost your single target against bosses and tanky rares, but also have the nice sand stance AoE for clearing. I try to keep my Quicksilver Flask up all the time for extra movement speed and use my other flasks more situational, as this is an already incredibly tanky character. To boost my single target DPS even further, I place a Warchief totem on the ground and also use my Val Ancestral Warchief if I feel like I want that extra damage boost. You can also pop your Val Molten Shell if you expect a big damage spike hitting you, or if you just want to face tank things without really noticing your life going down at all. Try to have your Tempest Shield up at all times. It just gives you a good defense bonus, but also curses enemies on hit with vulnerability, which is a nice damage boost. Don't level Tempest Shield up, as you really don't need the lightning damage from it, and it might even be a problem in elemental reflect maps if you do, plus the increased mana costs. This is a bleeding build after all, so don't expect everything to die instantly. Just apply your bleeding stacks and keep on moving. So much to the basic playstyle of this build for the endgame. You can just copy my character with the current gear into your path of building. The link is down below in the description. But for now, let's head back to the beginning. For leveling, you have multiple options. There is no right or wrong, it simply depends on your playstyle and budget. You can just level with Lacerate, go a more fancy route with Frostblades and switch to Bladestorm later on before using Lacerate in the endgame again. This I would recommend to you if this is your first character in a league, and Lacerate Gladiator is, by the way, a really solid league starter. Or you can do what I did with this character after collecting some currency on my previous one. I can really highly recommend rushing the Cluster Jewel socket right next to Blade of Cunning and use the Hollow Balm Jewel there. Leveling this way is a really unique experience and very strong. You can't use any weapons or gloves, which limits your skill choices, but I went with Smite and I tried out Consecrated Path and Frenzy too. I just prioritized Smite over them. You can use another skill, this is solely up to you what you prefer. You can basically crush the game even though you are on the left side of the skill tree, and the Hollow Palm damage stacks with Dexterity. I didn't take any damage notes and just did all my traveling on the skill tree while leveling with this technique. In later acts my damage started falling off though, so this makes total sense after I didn't even invest into anything. So I'd say you should get high dexterity numbers on your gear and maybe even get some melee damage notes on the tree. But careful, it has to be melee damage not linked to any weapon type, because you don't wear weapons. So after hitting maps, I realized that I didn't level my Lacerate skill gems with me. So pro tip right there. Don't forget to level your actual endgame skill gem setups in your weapon swap set. You can also equip items in your main weapon slots and gloves with high intelligence requirements and level the gems in there. But you just have to make sure you only have the int required to equip them, but then remove the int required from your character again so you can still play with Hollow Palm. The gems in your unable to use items will still be leveled up as you go. Lucky enough, I was able to join my friends in some Breachstone runs and leveled from 66 to 84 in just one go of a few hours. Breachstones are really great for XP, but if you don't have access to them, just run maps you can clear quickly and maybe take some more damage nodes on the tree before going full max block. Your goal is to level quickly and conveniently and later on have both the damage and survival with your character for high endgame content. If you don't have a lot of money, I'd recommend the following gear progression. First, get yourself a high physical one-hand axe, preferably with bleeding damage and good attack speed. Mine cost me around 4 exalteds, so you might have to start with something that fits your budget and later upgrade to a high physical damage axe like mine. Second, get yourself a 6-link body armor. There are many corrupted ones out there for very cheap with good life and resistance rolls. Just be careful with the socket colors, and otherwise a tabula will do too for the start. Afterwards, invest into some great cluster tools. They are really cheap for this character. I paid maximum around 15 to 50 C each, and they boost your damage by a ton. After that, get the Surrender Shield. It's just such a great item for max block. That's already your basic setup, and you should have no issues getting into red maps like this. This is pretty much where I stand too right now. What I will do next with this character is upgrade my gear to get more damage for sure. I can get physical damage over time, attack speed and high flat physical damage on different pieces of gear, maybe even a Watcher's Eye. If I feel like the damage is good enough, I can also go full tank mode and get 100% immune to elemental ailments with gear and cluster tools together. After this is done, I'll give you an update on my progression, but I expect really no issues to continuing farming tier 16 plus choosed maps and the Simulacrum and high-end game boss fights like Conquerors, Cyrus and so on. So, guess that's it. Hope this diary helps you out on your journey, and sharing my experience with this build will make sure you don't do the same mistakes as I and have a fun build progression. If you enjoyed this content, please click that subscribe button. There's plenty more YouTube videos in the works. I'd also be happy to say hi to you on my Twitch stream. I want to establish Wednesdays as my YouTube day from now on, and therefore I'm usually live on Twitch Thursdays to Sundays. I'm Asu, and I hope to see you there or on my next video here. Bye bye!